Alright, so this video is going to be subjective as hell. People are going to unsubscribe because of this, people are going to leave nasty comments, people are going to try to find out what's wrong with me or what I'm doing wrong. And I'm here to tell you, I don't care about any of that. Overwatch has been out for a little over a year now. Although I haven't grinded it as much as some people have, I do own it on 2 platforms, and both of those platforms I have played it up past level 20. I know you level 150s or whatever, I don't know what the levels are in Overwatch, I don't know what the max level is, but I'm sure there's some of you that have like thousands of hours into the game, it's your favorite game, and this video is going to piss you off, and I would actually encourage you to click away. Stop watching. I like viewer retention, but this is just going to frustrate you, and if you like Overwatch and you clicked on this video just to leave me fucking nasty comments, I really can't help you. I'm not going to give you any real time, because you saw the title, right? Why I can't get into Overwatch, why I can't love it, and I've tried loving it. But there are certain games that I put a lot of time into, and I walk away unhappy every time, and that is not a good thing. I hate disliking games. I need to do a whole video on this to clarify my position, because a lot of people think I just complain or I'm just bitchy. I hate hating games, alright? Now, I will admit, as a kind of almost a guilty pleasure, there are certain games I love to hate on, and there are certain games that I loved watching them fail because of the amount of hype they've gotten, or so on and such forth. I get a weird sadistic feeling whenever Black Ops 3 adds a bunch of new weapons into supply drops, and people spend thousands of dollars on it, like, just to get this one gun that they want. I laugh because it's like, yes, it's horrible, and there's something about that that's probably wrong with me, but for the most part, for the greatest part of my video game playing life, I don't like disliking games. I don't like finding those little things in games that make me not like them. I don't like finding game-breaking glitches, I don't like games not running properly, I don't look for it and go, oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome on my channel to bitch about. I bitch about it to bring awareness to it, I bitch about it to vent my own feelings out and to hopefully entertain you guys. I'm not trying to hate Overwatch, in fact I've tried to love it. And when it came out, I did love it. I was almost obsessed with playing it. There was a brief thing where the group I was playing with stopped playing with me, which didn't really help my enjoyment of the game, having nobody to play it with on PC. And then the people that did get it to play with me on PC got it after I had, already moved on to other games, and then I got it on console to play with my lady friend, and then she got it on PC, and I've just never had a group of people to play it with, which would probably help my enjoyment of it quite a bit. But I do have a little bit of a strict criteria, and you might disagree with this, but a good multiplayer game doesn't require you to have a group of friends. It doesn't require you to run with a full team. You should just be able to hop into your favorite $60 shooter and enjoy it whether your friends are online or not. And I should say Overwatch is really enjoyable to me. I can have a lot of fun in it. It's fun to play. The game lends itself towards fun. It really does. But it's not Battlefield sandbox kind of fun. It's not brutal fun like in Doom. It's not making the enemy team rage fun like in Call of Duty. It's knowing that you're annoying the fuck out of people is the fun part, and it's also the not fun part. Now, not always, but in a lot of situations, I don't feel like I'm bested by an opponent in Overwatch. I don't feel like I'm getting outplayed. I feel like I'm getting out-annoyed. I feel like I get singled out by heroes that know they can take on the hero I'm playing as, and then when I switch heroes, I run into a different player on their team that singles me out, and when I try to single somebody else out, I get surrounded, and there's always this weird thing, and this is completely subjective in my experience, whenever I play by myself, my teammates are worse than me, and I'm not even that great. So I never really feel like I have a fair fight. I don't really feel like I'm trying to beat them at their own game. I'm basically trying to create my own game. Each character in Overwatch is almost like their own video game and the way you have to play them. So I kind of feel like I'm using my game against their game, not beating them at their own. You get what I mean? Like in the way that Call of Duty and Battlefield works, because of the way the gunplay works, you're beating them at the game you're both playing, whereas in Overwatch, you target certain heroes while you're playing as a different hero, and you ruin their day. You make it so that they can't defeat you because you're playing as the hero that counters them perfectly. Overwatch puts you in a lot of unwinnable situations, and a lot of clusterfucks. Playing OBJ, like getting on the points in Overwatch, is a clusterfuck. The quickest way for me to dislike a shooter is for it to just feel like a clusterfuck constantly. I'm okay with fast-paced, I'm okay with slow-paced, I'm okay with aggressive pacing, I'm okay with forced engagements, even to an extent, but a clusterfuck is something else entirely. All of the Overwatch characters are very well designed, not their personality or their backstory. That shit's super fucking generic and weak. And there's like, buy subscribers, buy those 10 of you, but the characters are well designed in the way that they play. As soon as they're all on the same objective, objectively, don't look at this like an Overwatch fan, objectively, the gameplay is just a fucking ton of explosions and ninjas and big pigs with chains, and it's just, I'm oversimplifying it to make my point, but basically, it's a lot of people's abilities and powers and weapons colliding in this big mesh of just, what are you supposed to fucking do? A lot of the times my head's on a constant swivel and I'm targeting multiple people while getting surrounded by multiple people and my teammates are trying to pick them off, and it's just this fucking clusterfuck, this undescribable clusterfuck. And I never hear reviews about Overwatch say stuff like this. People talk about Overwatch as if it's in its own universe, its own island, its own completely different dimension, where clusterfucks and unbalanced things and things that are annoying, things that take skill away from the player, getting stunned, getting grabbed by chains, getting frozen by Mei, these things feel as if they take away the skill from the player. They're literally freezing you. Look at this bitch. She's literally freezing people. That's okay in Overwatch because Overwatch is Overwatch and everybody loves Overwatch, and that's not the way I look at games. The way I look at it is, this is a clusterfuck, my ability to fight is being taken away from me, and I don't like it. Now, some objectives are different than others in Overwatch. There's some areas where like you have like an objective you have to protect, and they have to come through a choke point, they have to come through different like lanes to get to you. And other ones, when it's a collide in the middle, it is almost 100% going to become a clusterfuck. And clusterfuck is not a good thing. I don't know who likes that, but it's just messy. It feels underdeveloped. It feels garbagey. As soon as there's some like range and direction in Overwatch and people are fighting like across a lane, there's something about that I like. You put them in a circular area or kind of like a squared off area that they have to like fight over, it's just a mess. It's just a consistent fucking mess. There are games that I played where I don't know what's going on, and the two games that come to mind are my two RPGs that I play in my free time, Kingdom Hearts 2 that I'm playing through right now, and Final Fantasy 15. Some of the fights are so chaotic and there's so much stuff going on that I sometimes don't know exactly what's going on. I just know I need to keep attacking and blocking and keeping my health up, and I don't prefer that. Tons of explosions and light effects and people bouncing everywhere isn't ideal to me all the time. But I still feel like I have an agency in those games when attacking my enemies. Now I know those are completely different games than Overwatch, but I'm just saying, if I can't tell what's going on, necessarily, like specifically, but I still feel like I have agency, that's one thing. But in Overwatch, depending on what character you are and what situation, sometimes that agency is completely removed from you. At least it feels to me. So, this is a personal video. I'm not saying Overwatch is bad. Overwatch is a good game. It is a solid game. Is it Game of the Year? Fuck no. Mini rant? There are so many games in 2016 that I would have put up with a lot better for Game of the Year. And my personal bias went towards Doom. I wanted Doom or Titanfall 2 to be up there with Game of the Year. If they're gonna pick a shooter, I would have said Doom or Titanfall 2. Maybe Infinite Warfare for its campaign. Its campaign was really good. It's multiplayer, little uninspired in areas, just fleshed out ideas. I can't fucking escape that fucking game. I have to talk about it every video. Fuck Infinite Warfare. If anything, I hate Infinite Warfare because I talk about it so much. But either way, Overwatch should not have been Game of the Year in my opinion. It's a solid multiplayer shooter. It's a fun multiplayer shooter. It's not Game of the Year. It's like making Team Fortress and Overwatch are not the same game. I don't think that. I used to. I think they're similar, but they're not the same game. But that's like making Team Fortress 2 Game of the Year. Multiplayer only hero shooters should not ever be Game of the Year in my opinion. If Overwatch had like a big campaign and it was like kind of like a story driven, kind of like a Bethesda kind of campaign, like Wolfenstein or Doom kind of a campaign where you're kind of going through these levels and it's very narrative driven, I would have liked that a lot. As it stands, it shouldn't have been Game of the Year. But my biggest problem in Overwatch, because a lot of times people ask me, oh, what, how do you play this hero? What platforms do you play on? Well, are you doing this right? Are you doing this right? And they ask me questions, and it's been 12 months of this in my live streams, in my comment sections, for my friends, and on Twitter. So let me say, I know what I do wrong in Overwatch. I treat it like a video game and not like Overwatch. I talk about it like it's a piece of software. I talk about it like it's a product. I talk about it like it's just another shooter in my library. I call it on its bullshit. That's my flaw. I'm aware of its bullshit and I call it on its bullshit. And believe me, I don't mind a bit of bullshit. I like some goofy shit in my games. I'm a little against hero shooters right now. Any game that kind of starts resembling a hero shooter makes me cringe. But Overwatch has good fun. I like playing it. To be honest, I play it casually. I don't sweat in it. There's certain characters that are fun to play as. I make sure that I'm helping my team. I'm being an asset and not a hindrance. And it's fun. I like how I can play as a different hero every game or different times throughout one match and feel like I'm playing on an entirely different video game. Playing as Mercy versus playing as Soldier is the best comparison I can make. It's like you're playing two completely different video games. Even though both characters have firearms and can heal, we both know that there are very, very, very different characters. So let me summarize this video. I like Overwatch. I'm going to keep Overwatch. But why I can't get into it is that I just feel bullied when I play it. I feel pushed into corners. I feel like I'm being singled out, and I just kind of walk away feeling like I couldn't have done anything. There are certain engagements I get into against certain heroes, or certain times I'm just engaged. I'm not always like pushing an attack with a character that shouldn't be pushing an attack. But that does happen sometimes. I'm not perfect. But I sometimes just feel like I get engaged in ways that I could just set the controller down or take my hands off my keyboard and mouse and walk away and be like, oh, there's nothing I can do anymore. The game isn't repetitive. The game isn't boring. I just don't like feeling my agency or my ability to fight being removed or being replaced by, again, an undescribable mess of a clusterfuck, and that's just why I won't get into Overwatch. And that sucks, because, again, like I said, and I'm sure that went over a lot of your guys' heads, and you've already left me mean comments, but I don't want to hate a game. I don't want to dislike a game. I don't want to have things against a game. I didn't want to dislike Advanced Warfare. I didn't want to dislike Black Ops 3. I didn't want to dislike Battlefield 1. I didn't want to stop playing Rainbow Six Siege. There are things about the game that affect me personally in a way that I don't want to play them. And that's not good, and I don't like it, but I'll talk about it because it's maybe entertaining. It helps me get it off my chest, and maybe you guys can relate and let me know what you think, or maybe I can even change your mind. Maybe you will look at a game differently. And I don't know, don't just copy my opinions and, you'll be fine. Just take my opinions as input. I don't know, this video's gone on way too long. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of like freestyle rant. I haven't done something like this in a little bit, where I just kind of, ramble-bamble about how I feel about something. So, I guess to clarify one more time, and maybe I'll put a timestamp to this in the comment section if I get a lot of hate. Overwatch is a good game, genuinely. It's a fun game. I enjoy the game. It shouldn't have been Game of the Year, and it puts me in a lot of situations that frustrate the fuck out of me, but it is a good game. I just can't get into it, and that's the end of this video. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.